Mr. Latham.
Mr. Latham votes aye. Mr. Cole.
Cole, the ship. Old
Mr.
King
Cole votes
Cole.
aye.
He votes
Mr.
aye.
Farr.
Mr. Farr.
Mr. Farr votes no.
Mr. Farr votes no.
Mr. Grijalva.
Mr. Grijalva.
Mr. Grijalva votes no. On this vote, the ayes 235, the nays are 189. Majority voting in affirmative, the amendment's agreed to. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 5, printed in Part B of House Report 113-108 by the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Kaufman, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevail by a voice vote. Clerk will redesignate the amendment. Amendment number 5, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Kaufman of Colorado. Recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for recorded vote will rise and be counted. Sufficient number having arisen. Recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
Smell out here. Come on, iceberg lettuce. Here it is. It's water, mostly water. Lettuce, water. Water. 2-minute vote. Ah. I want to get out of here. I gotta clean up. I want to go over the... Come on. It is a big mess. It's a little mess. It's a little maze of a mess.
On this vote, the ayes are 206, the nays are 220, less than majority voting in the affirmative. The amendment is not agreed to. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 9, printed in Part B of House Report 113-108 by the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Riggle, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevail by a voice vote. Clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 9, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Riggle of Virginia.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. Sufficient number having arisen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
What's up, Mecca? You're after the flip chart again. Do you remember the flip chart from way back then? All the work we went to get this paper? Do you remember that? Is that what you're trying to remind me of? Do you need some more food yourself? Dog does not live by flip chart alone. Okay, let's get you a can of dog food. Can of dog food for Mecca. This is all about hot enough. This, I gotta fish out of there for that when I come back. Wow. Oh, this goes on top of this. Wow, this. The torque, the effort to get around the corner. Wow. The lack of room. Come on. Allah Akbar. Okay, food, you have water. Where's your water? Over there. Wow. Good Mecca. Whew. Come on. Come on, move as one, hunt together. Those who are not tormented. Those who are not tormented. Bismillah.
278, the nays 248. That's the majority voting in the affirmative. The amendment is by the gentleman from Massachusetts.
No! I get a bite, and who reminds me that's what their legislation's about. And you remind me.
Those who support the request for a recorded vote will rise and remain standing. Sufficient number having arisen. A recorded vote is
Healthy votes and not.
by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
Okay, 7.
To 304, the nays are 121.
Mr. Sean Maloney. Mr. Sean Maloney votes aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 305, the nays are 121, a majority voting in the affirmative. The amendment is agreed to. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on amendment number 11, printed in Part B of House Report 113-108 by the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Goodlatte, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the ayes prevail by voice vote. Clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 11, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Goodlatte of Virginia.
Recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. Sufficient number having arisen. A recorded vote is ordered. Members record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
Gotta get back in there.
On this vote, the ayes are 214, the nays are 211, a majority voting in the affirmative. The amendment is agreed to. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on amendment number 12, printed in Part B of House Report 113-108 by the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Smith, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevail by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 13, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Smith of Washington.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. Sufficient number having arisen. A recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote. 200, the nays are 226, less than the majority voting affirmative. The amendment is not agreed to. Committee did not rise. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Opinion chair, the ayes have it. The committee rises. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, committee on the whole House on the State of the Union having had under consideration H.R. 1960 direction to refer to this
Chair of the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union reports that the committee has under consideration H.R. 1960 and has come to no resolution thereon. House will come to order.
The 29th was something, May 25th to March. Okay, that's done.
Amendments 14 and 23 House Report 113 and 108 Should pass Resolution 260 and Rule 18, the Chair declares the House and Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union for further consideration of H.R. 1960. Will the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Paul, please?
House is in the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union for further consideration of the bill H.R. 1960, which the clerk will report by title.
A bill to authorize appropriations for fiscal year 2014 for military activities of the Department of Defense and for military instruction to describe military personnel strength for such fiscal year and for other purposes.
The Committee of the Whole House for all the voting today. The second set of amendments offered by the gentleman from California.
been disposed of.
Consider amendment number 15, printed in Part B.
Texas. Taxes.
Amendment number 15, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Denham of California.
Pursuant to House Resolution 260, the gentleman from California, Mr. Denham, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of my amendment to authorize the enlistment in the armed forces of undocumented immigrants who entered the U.S. under 15 years of age, who entered the country on or before December 31st, 2011, and who are otherwise qualified for enlistment. This amendment will also provide a way for this group of undocumented immigrants to be lawfully admitted to the United States for permanent residence by reason of their honorable service and sacrifice in the United States military. As a nation, we have never made citizenship a requirement for service in our armed forces. Half of the U.S. military enlistees in the 1840s
What
were
was it?
immigrants, and more than
What was I thinking?
650,000 military.
Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on. I got that out of there. Did I turn it off? Come on!
Appreciate him raising this very important issue. There is no doubt that individuals who were brought to the United States as young children by their illegal immigrant parents are the most sympathetic group of people not lawfully present in the United States in the U.S. today, and that's particularly true of those who desire to serve in the armed forces of the United States. We should embrace these individuals whose goal it is to integrate into American society and live and work by the rules of our nation. This is an issue we plan to look at in the Judiciary Committee. And so I want to thank the gentleman from California, Mr. Becerra, also for raising the issue in the context of our overall efforts to deal with immigration reform. And if the gentleman from California will withdraw his amendment, I would commit to him to work with him in addressing the situation and immigration status of these individuals. This should and can be done in the broad spectrum of the entire immigration debate, which, as you know, we are fully engaged in the House Judiciary Committee.
Gentleman from California, Mr. Denham.
I would reserve, I look forward to working with the gentleman, but at this time I'd like to reserve.
Gentleman reserved.
Reserving after this
Gentleman
tweet.
from Washington.
Continue to reserve the balance of our time.
U.S. war machine uses children of illegal immigrants as cannon fodder, just like Roman Empire did.
Gentleman from
Therefore, bring back the draft with
Thank you,
this.
Mr. Chairman. Actually, I rise actually to thank you for, Mr. Denham, for bringing up this very important issue.
Mr. Denham.
The gentleman mentioned historically the great, frankly, the great contribution that the folks that he's mentioning today, people just like that, have made throughout our history. And let me tell you, Mr. Denham, you're bringing up an issue which I am glad finally somebody has brought up. And I know you're going to continue to, as you have, shown the leadership on this issue that you've had from day one. I just, for one, want to tell you that I'm willing to do whatever I can to be of help, because I think the issue that you have brought up today is essential, not only for a group of individuals, but more importantly, for the national security interests of the United States. So again, thank you, sir, for bringing this up, and with that, I yield back.
Gentleman from California reserved.
Reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Washington.
Mr. Chairman, do I understand that we have the right to close?
The gentleman is correct.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to yield a minute to Mr. Becerra of California.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I appreciate the gentleman from California being willing to withdraw the amendment, and certainly appreciate the work of the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Goodlatte, in proposing that we try to resolve this in this chamber. I think we want to make it very clear, as I think every one of my colleagues who's spoken on this amendment has said, this is an important issue because we have a lot of young Americans who are trapped in a situation where they have to live in the shadows. And especially for those who wish to provide service to our country in uniform, I think all of us believe if you're willing to give that highest call of order, highest calling of service, that we want to be there to be not only appreciative of your service, but recognizing the valor involved. And so I want to make sure we're very clear. We all support the notion of trying to help these young Americans who are Americans in everything but legal title, the opportunity to serve this country. This amendment, unfortunately, would not accomplish that if it were to go forward. And that's why I think it's so important, as Mr. Goodlatte, our chairman of the Judiciary Committee, pointed out, that we withdraw the amendment and try to make corrections so we can get to the point
Gentleman's time has
of dealing
expired.
with immigration reform. I yield back.
Gentleman from California.
Mr. Speaker, how much time do I have remaining?
You have 1.5 minutes.
I'd like to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Colorado.
Gentleman from Colorado is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the gentleman from California for yielding and for bringing up this critical issue. My father was a veteran of both World War II and Korea, and he taught me growing up that there's no greater demonstration of American citizenship than serving one's country in the military. And in my congressional district, there are a lot of young people who came to this country by their parents illegally, who grew up in the United States, who went to school here, and who want to serve this country in the military. It is the only country that they've known. And so they ought to be afforded the right to do that and to demonstrate what is the greatest, I think, form of citizenship, and that is service in the United States military. And so I think that this is something that we've got to accomplish as a part of comprehensive immigration reform, and something certainly that will make our country better, a better place. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman reserved. The gentleman from Washington has 1.25 minutes remaining.
This is too slow. What is wrong with my computers?
Gentleman reserved. Gentleman from California.
Gotta get new computers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me just finish by saying the precedence is here. Legal permanent residents are already serving in our military. From America Samoa, from Micronesia, from Palau. We have a long history of over 660,000 immigrants serving in our military from other countries. This seems like something that should be a bipartisan, common sense way to address this problem, allowing people to not only being able to serve in the military, that great opportunity that they have, but
Come on.
the ultimate sacrifice, giving your life for a great country like this. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to withdraw my amendment.
Without objection, the amendment is withdrawn. It is now in order to consider the amendment number 21, printed in Part B of House Report 113-108. For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 21, printed in Part B of House Report number 113-108, offered by Mr. Turner of Ohio.
Pursuant to House Resolution 260, the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Turner, and a member opposed will each have 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last year, I stood here on the House floor, and I asked the President of the United States to make available to us, to Congress and the American public, the details of what I believe is, and many have seen, is a secret deal that the President has with the Russians concerning the United States missile defense. Everyone is very much aware that the President had an open mic incident where he didn't expect the American public to hear what he was saying when he was meeting in Seoul, South Korea with then President Medvedev of Russia, and he said to him that he needed some space from the Russians. He said to him, as we all are familiar with now, "This is my last election," Obama told Medvedev during the two-day nuclear summit. He said, quote, "After my election, I will have more flexibility." You don't have to take my word for it. You can see this on YouTube where the President offers the issue of missile defense as one that's negotiable with the Russians after he's no longer answering to the American public through the election. What's troubling is as we stood on the House floor and demanded the President make public the terms of this secret deal that he was talking about with Medvedev, the President didn't make any of those details available, but instead, after the election, with the stroke of his pen, abandoned Phase 4 of his own phased adaptive approach missile defense plan that would have provided missile defense protection for the United States homeland. It was a portion of the missile defense shield that was objected to by the Russians. So here we have the President sitting with Medvedev saying, wait till after the election, I'll have more flexibility, and then subsequent to the election, abandoning a portion of the missile defense shield that was intended to protect the homeland. But what's even more troubling is in Russian press reports indicate that President Putin says that they have received from the United States indications of a further deal and further negotiations, further offers from this administration to what I believe weaken and diminish our missile defense shield. The President needs to make these public. We are asking for a sense of Congress demanding that the President of the United States make public the details of the terms of what he is offering President Putin. The President has said he's going to be the most open, most transparent administration, and yet this is an area where not only does the administration deny negotiations are ongoing, which we know to be the case, but he even denies the American public and us the terms of those negotiations. Our sense of Congress says, Mr. President, make these public. As we know, South Korea is incredibly vulnerable to North Korea. Now the United States is vulnerable as North Korea has taken missiles and put them on the launch pad. We have Iran that's emerging. We have real concerns and threats to the United States. This president should not be negotiating away our missile defense shield, especially not in a manner that's open and transparent to the members of Congress. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Ohio reserves his time. The gentleman from Washington,
Claim time in opposition.
the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I encourage our colleagues to vote no on this amendment. The amendment implies the President is negotiating some secret deal with
West,
Russia that would
with a
weaken
fine
U.S. security for
reputation. But
the
that fine
ideological
reputation
pursuit of
comes
nuclear
from
weapons reductions. Now, we know the President
tireless
has constitutional
devotion.
power to conduct formulations, and Congress has the authority to provide advice and consent to ratification, and to deny funding for any implementation of any treaty. The administration has provided regular briefings and supplied senior state defense officials over here to our committee, to the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and informed us on talks on Russia. This amendment also is not necessary. The bill already contains numerous provisions asking for information on U.S.-Russian missile defense cooperation and blocking nuclear weapons reduction. So I'd ask my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
With that, reserve the balance of my time. The gentleman from Washington reserves his time. The gentleman from Ohio,
Chip Roberts doesn't have remaining.
the gentleman from Ohio has 2 minutes remaining.
I yield 1 minute to Mr. Breitenstein.
The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise today to support the Turner Amendment. The President, as everybody remembers, told then Russian President Medvedev that we would have more flexibility to cut a secret deal. Of course, he didn't use the word secret, but I think we all understand that's what it was, on missile defense after the 2012 elections. We also know that the National Security Advisor, Tom Donilon, conveyed a letter from the President to Russian President Putin that reportedly proposed a missile defense agreement that would avoid congressional review and consent. Given this administration's lack of transparency, I have no confidence in the President's abilities to negotiate on missile defense or on nuclear weapons. Mr. Chairman, missile defenses protect our nation. They protect our deployed forces and our allies from attack. Our nuclear deterrent is a stabilizing force that promotes restraint and assures our allies of security. Given our economic and military superiority, currently we have military dominance when compared to Russia. I personally don't trust this president to negotiate it away. And I think
Wow.
that certain members have read newspaper articles. Well, that's interesting, but that's not a finding. It characterizes the president as trading away for the prospect of nuclear arms reductions certain weapon system or defense systems. And I would really ask anyone on the other side if they could cite to us any instance where the president has in fact made an agreement where he has traded away any defense system to the Russians or anyone else. I don't think they can. The right vote on this is no. We should exercise oversight. We should not engage in science fiction. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Washington reserves. The gentleman from Ohio has 1 minute remaining.
I yield the balance of my time to the chairman of the Transport Subcommittee, Mike Wright.
Thank you, Mr.
Gentleman's
Chairman.
recognized for 1 minute.
Thank the Speaker. I rise in support of the Turner Amendment. This administration must be transparent with the Congress on negotiating proposals with foreign states, especially on something as important as U.S. security as missile defense. Numerous members of the House, including Chairman McKeon, have written asking questions of the DOD and the President as to the content of proposals that the administration is and may be making with the Russians. We see over and over again Russian officials, after visits by the U.S.,
Be calm.
proposals that have been made on U.S.
Where's that coming from?
Note from these press reports that the President is proposing executive agreements and drafting executive
Wow.
agreements that provide, quote, legally binding, close quote, constraints on our missile defenses. When we as members of Congress ask about these proposals, we're told next to nothing. It's unacceptable for this administration to stiff-arm the Congress when negotiating over U.S. missile defenses. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this amendment. Now yield back.
Gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I've asked colleagues to vote no on this amendment. We've heard from this side, not just the content
Oh!
being sort of out of whack with reality, but also when we consider whether or not it's necessary.
It makes me so angry that I can't find the sound on this.
We're already in HR 196.
Ah!
Colleagues to vote no on this amendment. We yield back the balance of the time.
Gentleman yields back. Both sides having yielded back. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Ohio. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Gentleman from Washington.
Mr. Chairman, with that I ask for the ayes and nays.
There's a gentleman.
Where's the sound coming from?
Clause 6 of Rule 18. Further proceedings on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Ohio.
Wow!
What purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
It makes me so angry.
Now for amendments in block. Clerk will designate the amendments in block.
On block number 3, consisting of amendments
Wow!
29,
It hurts my head.
55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 63, 65, 66, 68, 71, 75.
Wow! My head! Oh. Oh. Oh, it makes me so angry. It's not right to get angry. Wow. Ah! 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 Come on! Come on. Come on. Tomorrow is what, Friday? Or what? I'm tired in my head. This is not right. This is not right to have coffee. Wow. Wow. Whoa, that's not right. It's not right to let your anger out with your voice. You got to find another way to do it. Bismillah. Ah. Ah. You shouldn't do this. Wow, shouldn't do this. Bismillah. Clean up. Come on. Bismillah. Come on. Wow, come on. Bismillah. Come on. Wow. Is there hope? Ah! 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 Oh. Oh. Ah! Come on, I need new computers. Come on. Oh. Let Let me get out of here. I gotta clean up. I gotta get this. I gotta write a book on how, what is it? You need a speaker icon by the windows. When you open the window, you need a speaker icon by the tab. Wow. And this needs to go from virtually 0% earnings on savings to something like Fed required to pay 4% interest on money families save. Fed required to pay 1/2 the credit card interest rate on savings of families with children under 23. Fed required to pay 1/2 credit card interest rate on savings of families with children under 23. Fed required to pay 1/2 credit card interest rate on savings of families on savings on school savings accounts, on savings accounts for schools. And this is superseded by the other thing. You don't need this. But this is what they understand. Fed required to pay 1/2 credit card interest rate on savings accounts of children required 1/2 credit card interest rate on school savings accounts. School savings for school. Savings accounts for school. Of families with children under 23. Or impeach. Come on! Something's wrong with the computer. You gotta buy 2 new computers. Come on. Oh, come on. My head hurts. Come on. Well, that's the internet connection also. It was going about 1/10 as fast as it used to. My head hurts. Take another Advil. Come on. Come on. Wow, there's something wrong. What's it going to come with? Some horrible operating system. What's this one I missed? It is so slow! The Mac Pro, the desktop future, sneak preview. Wow! $13 and $15. What is this one? Come on. Come on. Ah. Oh. USB 3, is it compatible with USB 2? Wow. Bismillah. Ah. Ah. I know I need this one. Three printers. I don't think I need a VGA adapter. Yeah. Come on! What's the matter with this thing? It's so delayed. You got to reinstall the operating system. My head hurts from this. Oh, it... Oh. Oh. Ah! Come on!